in the meantime, between time, I want to introduce you guys to Nolan. He has joined us in studio, and he's an unusual brother. From another mother. So we're very happy to have you. Welcome to Sound Chat Studio.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yes. For our listeners who are out there, first of all, let me tell you, Nolan has a reggae song that is doing its thing right now, and it is a very timely moment for it because elections are coming up. He is very opinionated about elections and what you should be doing and all of that. So, we always try to push the envelope. We have these conversations and we like to get different perspectives from different angles. So Nolan actually is a Caucasian Jewish born brother. Can I say that?
You can't say that.
I can't say that. So welcome, Nolan. Before I say anything else, let me allow you to talk to our listeners. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much. Well, to start off with, as a Caucasian Jewish man, I was born in East Flatbush, and I grew up in the Boulevard Project of East New York.
Okay.
And from there, we graduated to the esteemed Linden Project.
Okay.
And so all of my friends were every color, every race, and it was actually... They call it a melting pot, but I kind of like call it something that's bubbling over into joy, because I had the greatest childhood growing up without racism. And it was an amazing time, and things change. Everything is dynamic. And I know that I'm jumping the gun here, but I just want to say, let's turn down the hate. Let's turn up the joy. Let's bring people into our world and try to make this a better world. And voting is about doing what you think is going to make the world better, not worse, no fear. And it's all about you. The power is in your hands, and people don't realize that.
So you know why I like that Nolan is here? Nolan is not running for nothing. Just so you guys know, he's not here to get votes. You understand? He's not here to persuade anybody. He's not here to push any agenda. He's just here. He's just a Jewish man who likes reggae music. He has decided that he's putting out some reggae music, and he's also done it with the collaboration of some of our family, the International Women of Reggae. Mm-hmm. You guys have heard of, we have Keisha Martin here. We've had her here a couple of times. On top of that, she's an avid listener of our morning show. She calls in all the time.
Love Keisha.
Yes. So they've collaborated on a particular song, which we're going to share a little bit later on. But you know what? The elections are coming up November 8th. And there's a lot to be said. And it's interesting, Nolan, that you say you grew up not seeing racism. So I hope you're not scared of certain topics, because we're going to go there.
No, let's go there.
Let's go there. All right.
I like that.
So
let's go there.
So, you grew up with different races in an area where, you're saying that there was no racism from your standpoint. I want to touch that statement.
Yep.
Why do you say that? How did you interact with other races that, people that grew up in your time, in your neighborhood, in your project?
I can only say that from the time I was 2 years old, my first best friend was black. And I said it in other shows, the one thing that I was completely overjoyed with is the fact that he had a bunk bed. I had never seen one before.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, already I knew that there was, and also I have to say this, as I was growing up, all the black people in my neighborhood had the best cars. They all had Cadillacs. I was like, how come my father can't afford that? So it was, I'm going to say, I think envy is a little bit worse than jealousy. So I was kind of like jealous that they had that, and we always had like really bad, used cars. But we all hung out together. We all played games together. We had everybody had each other's back. Mm-hmm. I have to say, honestly, it was probably when I was in my early teens that we started drifting apart a little bit, and people started getting a little bit more cliquey with their own, groups, to the point that somebody actually said, I can't hang out with you anymore.
Wow.
And I was just like, I'm still me. I'm still Nolan. I don't understand it. So that was the first time I saw it. And honestly, it wasn't coming from, the people who you would maybe expect it to be coming from.
Right, right.
And I think it was just because people were starting to wake up to the fact that there was racism out there, and we were living in our own little, collective, and we didn't see it. So it started, I think it started with business. The parents brought it home, said, he's promoting me, and he's promoting this guy. I'm not getting promoted. My wages are not going up.
Right.
And it started filtering in, and then the reality started coming in.
So is it safe to say that there became a realization that whatever you grew up in was changing because of the impact? You're getting no more aware. You're getting older. You're interacting with outsiders. It's not just people within your building or within your community.
Right.
So the true of divisions and that possibility and that world started showing. It's interesting that you say this because we can only look from our perspective. We can only hear from our perspective. So I'm happy that you're here to say that. How did you feel about that?
I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I had some really good friends, and at the same time too, I was kind of understanding it.
Right.
I consider myself a pretty cerebral person, and I kind of like look at everything going along around me, and I realized the change was coming.
I want to step back a minute. What time frame are we talking about? You're growing up in.
Well, you're going to wind up.
I mean, you look like a young man, but
you're going to reveal my age. But I'm talking about the late '60s.
Interesting.
So that was, the late '60s was like that turning point.
Yeah, before
where like
the Black
Pride and the Black Power. Yeah.
By the way, I thought that was really cool.
Okay.
I did, because I'm seeing people who I look up to as sports figures, and now they're actually getting involved with social movements, and I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Plus, also, we had Vietnam going on.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was driving us absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say this, and the reason why I wrote this song is because there was a huge difference between public outcry during the Vietnam War and what's happening right now, and this is a heck of a lot worse. This is so much worse. You're talking about affecting the actual Constitution of the United States and who we are as individuals.
So people would make a blanket statement by saying Jewish people are affluent enough that they don't have to be in certain communities unless they're taking it over. This is something that is out there. You obviously have grown into a reality where you were living in the same place as, other Black families and other ethnicities. So this, of course, is dispelling that whole notion, because there are different people at different levels from different races. And I think when we paint a picture across everybody, then this is where the misunderstanding comes in, and they wouldn't see a Nolan and the perspective that you do have.
You cannot paint everybody with a blank brush, and the bottom line is, and I really want to say this, everything that's happening right now, everybody that seems to your eyes that are going crazy, do not hate them, because they are just getting sucked into a story and they can't get out. And it's going to take years for them to get out. And I'll give you an analogy real quick. They looked at where most of the votes to the far right are going, and it's places where you have to be in your car to drive to work. And when you're driving to work, what radio stations are you listening to? And they're not listening to CNN, they're listening to NBC, they're listening to right-wing stations, and you're getting fed all day with that. And you can't help but get sucked into it. So don't be angry at them.
It's being uninformed is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know what, turn down the anger and just bring up the positivity of what you know and what you feel. I said go by the golden rule, and the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you see somebody that's not adhering to the golden rule, you already know who you want to vote for and who you don't want to vote for.
Okay, so we saw the whole upsurge in Black Lives Matter. And during that whole time, you know, you saw young people acting a certain way, being a part of, for the majority. And, you know, you saw more conservative white persons, you know, different, you know, different groups. And, you know, a lot of the videos that were coming out, it was these teenagers, these young kids in their 20s, 30s speaking to their parents to say, listen, this is not right. I know that you believe this, but it is not what you think because you don't understand. So I think that a lot of what is happening with race is fed, not only from your point, but also from our point of view. So I'm going to ask you a very hard question. What was it like in your household? Were you that young person who was identifying with the black families and your brethren and your sisters and whatever, but your family didn't identify and couldn't understand, or were they embracing? Because that's something that sometimes your opinion is not the same of your family.
My family embraced everyone. They were wonderful, and you know, we just happened to be growing up in a time that it just made it a lot easier. I think it's a lot harder now. No. I think we're much more isolated, and certainly with the pandemic, you know, it made a lot of people very uneasy with everything. And what we're seeing right now, I mean, you know, I am a big supporter of the police, but I have seen some outrageous things that have gone on in these past 2 years that are almost unspeakable, regarding the effect that we once thought we had this protection, and I'm speaking directly right now to anybody in New York City government who is listening to me. I saw a man choking another man online at a Walgreens, and I ran over to two cops that were sitting in a car, and they said, call 911.
Oh, wow.
Okay, nothing is more frightening than when you go to the police and they can't help you.
So you are around the whole thing about stop and frisk. You know, we talk about the police, we talk about what they do, but honestly, what was your thought, I mean, about that whole thing? Because obviously, to me, things were like really crazy.
Things were crazy, and stop and frisk, as far as I'm concerned, it was literally just targeting a group of people who they thought would be a possible threat, instead of just saying, what are they doing? They don't look so bad. You know, let me go on. Would I be doing this to a group of white men right now? So that whole concept wasn't good. I'm going to back that up, though, by saying the crime that we're having in the street right now and what's going on is a matter of the equation. How many police do we have out there, and where do we get the eyes? And how do we wind up protecting the common man who simply wants to get on with his life? And I think there has to be, you know, an overhaul of the police department, and certainly not defund it, but educate. And as my wife always says, why are they shooting people? If you want to shoot somebody, shoot them in the leg. These guys are taking
somebody's life.
They're taking somebody's life, and supposedly they're going to target practice like once a week or something like that. Don't they know how to do anything anymore? I really don't understand it. So, you know, it's somebody who is just an individual, not a special person, observing what's going on. You know that there's serious problems. You can't target people, and you can't avoid what's happening. You have to be a little bit of everything when you're out in the street.
And a part of being, you know, in the know and also acting, not just sitting and participating in what's happening around you, is to be informed. Be informed as to what is happening, what are on the ballots. This race is coming up, and a lot of people, they are sitting in the wings and watching. And this is something that I really have a problem with. We have to be proactive. We have to be informed. And we're going to take a call.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Morning Vibes. Is this Ariane?
Yes.
Hi, Ariane. How are you?
Good. Good.
Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ariane. She is. Are you the member? Are you the lead member or one of the other special members of the ladies in reggae?
I am the founder of International Women in Reggae.
International Women in Reggae. Sorry, just slipped me for a minute. So, Ariane, you are on this song with Nolan. Truth Be Told, and how did you guys come together to do this song?
Well, a friend of mine recommended me to Nolan, and we spoke. He gave me. We spoke, and in 5 minutes we became good friends.
Yeah, he seems very lovable.
Nolan is who Nolan is, and that's why I love Nolan so much.
Yes.
But what got my attention more than anything else was the fact that he told me a story behind the song itself. So he just gave me a song with an empty shell, but there was a message, it was a story, and International Women in Reggae, we're big about messages.
Right.
While I'm not political, yes, I'm not politically savvy. I know what I believe in. Personally, I felt, based on what Nolan expressed to me, which I'm not going to say because I don't know if you want me to say it. I felt that I needed to help him to get his message out there.
Okay.
So it was just became a marriage that it's going to last forever, I believe.
Okay, so Nolan, share that story with us. What is the whole story behind the song?
What the genesis?
Yes.
All right. Well, the bottom line is that the song was originally written as a country song.
Oh, okay.
And I came to the realization that I was just kind of like chasing my tail, trying to break into that area. And I said, you know what? This isn't working. I should just write what I want to write. And around the same time, the 2020 election was coming up. And I was always a big fan of Bob Dylan and a big fan of Bob Marley. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I started listening to something that's called Playing for Change. They did a remake of Mama Africa, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a Peter Tosh song that was done by his son Andrew. Mm-hmm. Must have played it a million times. And I just started realizing, I mean, reggae music is about the heartbeat. Okay, right. You could listen to pop, you go crazy with pop, throw your hands up in the air, dance fast, but reggae is kind of comes back to like this biological connection that you have.
Right.
And I started thinking about the election. I started thinking about the lies. I started thinking about a lot of stuff, and I said, you know what? I could go out and be a poll watcher. Yep. Do something. I said, I've been writing songs for years. Why don't I just do this? And the song had enough foundation in it to get to work. So I spoke to a friend of mine who's also a singer-songwriter, and he turned me on to Ja Life. And I spoke to Ja Life, and I told him what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And he got me connected to Alex King. And Alex King represents International Women in Reggae, and he connected me with Ariane. Now, like Ariane said, within 5 minutes, we were like friends for years. It was the craziest thing. But Ariane just took it right over, and she
ran with it, huh?
She ran with it. She put the band together. I told her that I wanted to have 3 female singers like the I3 that Bob Marley used.
Ooh, all right.
So he got a hold of Keisha Martin and Katrina Harley and Magano. And listen,
yeah,
you're there, Ariane.
Right.
And they started singing when we were in rehearsal, and my knees started buckling. I was just swooning over the sounds that came out of them. And then I told Ariane, I said, I started watching Ross the Children, that was written by Dennis Brown. And again, it was on Playing for Change, and I saw my horn section. I said, Ariane, I need to get horns. Mm-hmm. And she got in touch with Everton Bailey.
Oh, okay.
Everton put her in touch with 3 fantastic horn players. And
nice.
We were able to do everything in the studio of Sidney Mills, who's the founding member of Steel Pulse.
Right.
Brilliant engineer. And this is how it came about. Exactly. If I could just tell everybody where they could hear the song?
Yes, definitely. Please
Yes.
do.
So it's on YouTube. It's Nolan Truth B, the letter B, told. It's on Instagram at Nolan Music Official, and it's on Facebook at Nolan Music. And I just want to say one thing really quick. The
Yes.
midterm elections, a lot of people think it's nothing. The midterm elections is more important than the presidential election because you are electing the people in Congress. If they get a majority on the wrong side, you're going to lose. They're electing people in the Senate. If they get a majority on the wrong side, you're going to lose. So this is super important, and we're talking about years in the making.
Definitely so.
So you're just stuck with whatever we get if we don't go out in force like we did in 2020.
All right. And here's the thing, as I said, I'm going to repeat it for those people who are just joining us. Nolan ain't running for nothing. He just love reggae music. How about that? You know what I'm saying?
I got a lot more in the pipe.
You want to tell us a little bit more about what you have?
Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you that I like to go after causes. I have a beautiful song that I wrote, which is called Sweet Ukraine. I have other reggae songs that I've done. First of all, everything that I'm going to be doing is going to always have a reggae rhythm.
Okay.
You know, because it's, like I said, it's something that moves me, and I'm just tired of doing stuff that I'm trying to get other people to move by. And the lyrics are the most important thing. All of my songs are incredibly lyric driven. And I don't have the best voice in the world, but either did Bob Dylan, and he wound up getting his point across. And Bob Marley did it with his music,
right,
and also his words.
So Nolan,
We have the best intention.
right,
That's
Nolan. Here's a hard one. What do you say to people who say that you're appropriating the reggae culture?
That's the reason why I don't sing with an accent. And I don't want to put down another group that's out there that seems to be doing that.
Right.
It's been doing that for a while. But reggae is no longer limited to the island of Jamaica. Reggae is a universal music form, genre, that anybody should be able to do. If you think about what happened with Eminem when he first came out doing rap music, everybody was like against him. But the fact is, good music is good music. If I'm producing something that you don't like, don't listen to it. You know, if I'm producing something that you do like, listen to it, because it's even more than the music. I mean, I'm trying to do something that hasn't been done before. A lot of people, when they wind up seeing somebody doing reggae music, they might say, you know, it's just a reggae artist. It's Jamaica. It's you know, pertinent to Jamaica. This, what I'm singing about, is reggae music, and it's important to the whole world.
Okay.
It's important to everyone.
I love it.
Okay.
Ariana, what have you got to say? First of all, what are the international women in reggae doing these days?
Oh, well, we're actually working on some songs. We have a show on the 12th, and I am working on the initiative for next year. We formed Girls in Every Key 2020 before COVID happened.
Nice.
Encourage young girls to pick up an instrument. And we have a few things in the pipeline I'm not going to talk about yet. It's just collaboration with some other females.
Okay.
And we're working on that. But before that, we have 1.5 song written. So
That's an interesting concept.
1.5. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, honest, so we're trying to finish by December of 2022,
Okay.
which is around the corner.
All
So
right.
yeah, we have a couple of things in the pipeline. But I want to tell you one thing quickly. When Nolan spoke with me, I mean, you need to know the heart of the person, and there's no way he's appropriating reggae music. What I liked about the whole thing is that reggae sends a message, and the reason I gravitate towards it to begin with is because it had a message. It was coming from the heart. You know, he said,
yes.
that got him. And when he came, he didn't discriminate against an all-female band that's playing live right on that track. Except the 3 horn players. All the musicians on that track are female.
Big up to you guys.
Big up to the ladies.
Drummer, myself on drums, Shannon and
wow.
bass. You know, keyboard players. He did not discriminate at all. He just wanted the music to be told. And if you know anything about Nolan, he just speaks from the heart. He is who he is.
All right. I love it. Okay, so guys, go check it out. Listen to Nolan. Go to YouTube, and you have some final words.
Yes, I have some final words. Ariane is being very kind. Ariane just played on CBS's Inclusion Week.
Oh yeah, big up! I did listen. Congratulations, girl. Listen, these women are doing an awesome job. Please continue flying the flag. And Nolan, thank you so very much. For coming out.
Thank you, Sherry. This was a joy.